Hi, welcome to the Bedtime Terror, the show where I watch a scary movie before bed and let you know how I think I'm going to sleep. My name is Bobby, and tonight's review is going to be on the 2007 found footage film Exhibit A. Let's get into it. So, Exhibit A is a British indie film, and it is about a teenage girl, an adolescent girl, who is gifted uh, a digital camera of, to record around the house, as she likes, by her dad. And soon he announces that he's got a promotion and they should, sell their current house and upgrade. And things kind of spiral from there. And this movie pretty much documents her snooping around and uncovering certain things about her father as time progresses. And I'll leave it like that. So, Exhibit A, I'll say it like this: even though I'm a cynical person, sadly, I was able to predict what this movie was about because I went into it mostly blind. I just knew it was a found footage film and it was British. So at first I was, given that found footage films tend to say that 5 times fast, and tend to be paranormal usually. Um, I assumed at first, wrongfully, that this also was going to be paranormal. I was like, oh, this was going to be, this teenage girl objecting to moving and they're going to move into this house and it's going to be haunted, something like that. And I was wrong. However, again, going back to why I mentioned being cynical, I was able to figure out what this movie was going to lead to very quickly, but that doesn't make it any if any less scary. If anything, I wouldn't necessarily say that this movie is scary. It's unnerving. There is very little blood. We see very little violence in this movie. However, this movie is it is unnerving, and although, even the first half an hour, and it's a very short movie, it's only like an hour and like 27 minutes maybe. Despite that, the first half an hour or so, it makes you almost lose interest. Lose interest in the film because they do so well of making it seem slightly mundane and so ordinary and uninteresting that when it you do start to see that things are changing, I was like, oh, hold up, like, and it is little things that progress, and it's done very well. And I mean, everything about this movie is done very well. The acting, the writing of the script, the production, it's all done very well. But and perhaps because it's so realistic, we see so many we see so many news headlines of cases like this in real life that seeing it done in a film, even though done very well and tasteful, if there's such a way of saying it, given the subject matter, it still doesn't necessarily make it an enjoyable watch. nor one I would necessarily go back to. Um, However, it is a movie I could recommend. I know you may be thinking, like, what? Are you talking in circles? Like, what's going on? But it's because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. But I do. I could recommend this movie. Again, I would recommend it more as a psychological movie. Um, Something that's psychologically more on the disturbing side than visually or viscerally. It um, it's a movie I could definitely recommend, and in fact, I am recommending that you watch. But I don't necessarily have any interest in going back and watching again. Um, it's it's one of those things where it's just like I it's not enjoyable. I got very little enjoyment in it, if that makes sense. Um, and again, that's not to say this is a bad movie at all. It's done very well. It's just not. It's not to say it's not entertaining. It's just not something I would want to revisit. Um, However, on a plus side, I guess we do have um, a a character who is possibly part of the LGBTQIA plus community in our, I guess you could say our our leading actress, the daughter in it, Judith, um, which I think because she is an adolescent, I feel like people who are part of that community would be able to understand Judith um, to a degree, like, very understand and relate to her in her finding herself and her attractions, her what draws her to people. Yeah, so I was like, at least there's that, um, representation in film. Oftentimes, I feel like whenever we do have, um, gay and lesbian or queer coded characters, they are that coded or oftentimes done in a slightly parody of a way, a caricature of a way at times, um, just to shoehorn representation in where this was part of the story and a vital part of the story and the character. So that was a plus, no pun intended, as far as the storytelling of the movie goes. Otherwise, it's a well done movie. I just don't plan on watching again, and probably I'm gonna watch something a little more lighthearted right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's 1 to 10, 1 to 5. I would give this movie a 2.5. Like I said, it's well done, well acted, well produced. Um, it's just not something I wish to revisit. So, um, as always, this movie is completely free to watch without ads. The link is going to be down below in the description for you to check out. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know if you've heard of this movie, if you plan to watch it. If so, what about it sounds interesting to you? Let me know if you have any other suggestions of movies that you would like me to give a watch. And until next time, guys, thank you again for your eyes and sleep time.